Welcome to On-Demand Instructions video on Writing Standard 1.3. We will be discussing using words concisely. We are covering the state standard to write arguments to support claims in an analysis of substantive topics or texts, using valid reasoning and relevant and sufficient evidence. Use words, phrases, and clauses to link the major sections of the text, create cohesion, and clarify the relationships between claims and reason, between reasons and evidence, and between claims and counterclaims. In this session, our learning goals are to use words concisely in writing, recognize and eliminate Deadwood, write sentences eliminating redundancy, reduce wordy phrases, wordy clauses, and verb or noun constructions. So let's start our discussion with these questions. How do you use words, phrases, and clauses in your paragraphs? How do you make your sentences as concise as possible? When you write, you should take care to use only the words that you truly need in order to communicate your ideas. Extra words can get in the way of clear communication. You should learn to make your sentences as concise as possible by identifying and eliminating unnecessary words. Unnecessary words that may take up space without furthering your meaning are called deadwood. There are two kinds of deadwood that you should watch out for: empty words that add nothing to your ideas, and hedging words made up of unnecessary qualifying expressions. Eliminate empty words and hedging words from your sentences. Empty words and hedging words are not difficult to identify. The following chart gives examples that can help you recognize both kinds of deadwood. The following examples show how to eliminate deadwood from your sentences. With deadwood, what I want for my birthday, I think, is a typewriter for the reason that I tend to type faster than I write. In a concise form, the sentence reads, for my birthday, I want a typewriter because I type faster than I write. Avoiding redundancy. Redundancy is the unnecessary repetition of an idea. Eliminate redundant words, phrases, and clauses from your sentences. Redundant words repeat the meaning of other words in the sentence. Adjectives that repeat the meaning of nouns and adverbs that repeat the meaning of verbs should be eliminated. In the following examples, redundant adjectives and adverbs are eliminated. In a redundant adjective, he studied past history extensively. In the concise form, he studied history extensively. With a redundant adverb, the boys advanced forward and shook their fists. Concise. The boys advanced and shook their fists. Redundant prepositional phrases can clutter your sentences with ideas that have already been expressed by other words in the sentence. You should examine your sentences for these repetitious phrases and remove them. Redundant. Pat's face turned red in color and he ran from the room. Concise. Pat's face turned red and he ran from the room. Redundant clauses can make sentences illogical or even pointless. Delete redundant clauses by either letting the main clause stand alone or by adding meaningful subordinate clauses. The following examples show both ways to correct redundant clauses. Redundant. The child asked unanswerable questions that no one could answer. Concise. The child asked unanswerable questions. And concise with two ideas. The child asked unanswerable questions that vexed his parents. Often you can make your sentences more concise by looking for simpler ways to express your idea. You may turn phrases into single word modifiers and many clauses into phrases. Sometimes you can replace a phrase with a single word modifier, a noun, or a pronoun to create a shorter, clearer sentence. Wordy. Aunt Liza moves in a slow manner. Concise. Aunt Liza moves slowly. Wordy. Volunteers brought books and magazines for patients to read. Concise. Volunteers bought patients books and magazines to read. Adjective clauses add words that are not always needed to a sentence. Wordy. My grandmother, who gave me a novel by Charles Dickens, also told me the story. Concise. My grandmother gave me a novel by Charles Dickens and told me the story. Wordy. We lifted the chest, which was heavy. Concise. We lifted the heavy chest. Phrases using verbs such as have, give, and hold, followed by nouns, sound heavy-handed. The idea can usually be expressed more clearly with only a verb. Wordy. She will give you help if you ask her. Concise. She will help you if you ask her. Wordy. The club plans to hold discussion on the new rules. Concise. The club plans to discuss the new rules. Now let's do an activity to hone your skills. Write an essay of an adventure you've had or an experience you've had on vacation. Apply the skills that you've learned in this session. As a student, you're expected to use words and phrases and clauses to link the major sections of the text, create cohesion, clarify the relationships between claims and reasons, between reasons and evidence, between claims and counterclaims. We've come to the end of our session. In this session, we have learned how to eliminate Deadwood, avoiding redundancy, and avoiding wordiness. To learn more about our topic in this session, you may visit these sites. Return to www.ondemandinstruction.com for more instructional videos, podcasts, and materials. We update the site weekly.